crashing, hit a wall. Right now I need a miracle. Hurry up now, I need a miracle.
Hey, it's Felicia. And last year around this time I posted, well, not around this time. It's already, okay, let me explain. So, last year I posted a video called 19 Things I Learned at 19. And I posted that on my 20th birthday. So, this year I was planning on filming 20 things I learned at 20 because on the 30th of November I turned the big 21. Yes, thank you, thank you. Anyways, so my birthday's on the 30th of November. Anyways, so basically today is the 27th of December. I turned 21 on the 30th of November, but here's a little backstory. So on the 24th of November, I got a cold. And I was like, it doesn't matter, I'm still planning to film this video, everything's going great. I was like, 5 days. I can get better in 5 days. You guys, it didn't get better until like the 14th of December. Apparently it wasn't like a cold. I never went to the doctor because who's got money for that? But my mom's a nurse and my mom's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is bronchitis. So that's why it lasted so long, I guess. So yeah, that's why I didn't film anything, because I was basically in my bed just curled up complaining about being sick. I'm not even gonna lie. But I've had this planned since before my birthday. It's just going up almost a whole month late. Also, I do want to mention, I know this is gonna be long, but the last video I posted was literally me talking about how I don't want to give up and I want to post every week, and then I went a whole month without recording. But I'm serious this time. I really am serious. I do want to post every single Friday. I don't want to give up. I'm feeling much better now. But now Romeo has a cold, so I hope I don't get a cold again. But I'm just keeping my hopes up high, and yeah. If you can hear like weird noises, it's Ozzy in the back. I would show you, but I don't want to move my camera from the tripod. He's literally on the bed rubbing his back everywhere, like trying to get a scent or something. Okay, so with all that said, I am going to start my list of 20 things that I learned at 20. Now, I really hope I'm not reusing things from my last video. I tried to make sure I didn't, but who knows, one or two may have slipped. But anyways, let's just get this done with. So the first one on my list is that success is different for everybody. Now, this is really important to me because I feel like a lot of people think that there's only one path to go in life, and that if you don't go in that path, then you're marked as unsuccessful or just not good enough. And that's not the case. I think that everyone has to go through a different path, and I think just because we make one choice that's really different from what the norm is, doesn't mean that we can't be successful in life and that we can't do the things that are as good as what everyone else does. I hope that made sense. I feel like it didn't, but I hope it did. Number 2. Life is full of trial and error. The only way you're gonna learn something is if you go through it a few times, you know? And it's okay to have mistakes and to mess up in life, because it's just gonna be better for you in the long run. Because then in the future you're gonna know not to make that mistake again, and you learn better. One example that I can give, and I don't think this is really like a personal one, because, you know, it's just one that comes to mind, I think most people can relate to, is like relationships. So you may learn something in one relationship and you're like, I really didn't like that about that relationship. So then when you finally meet someone else, you can make sure, oh, don't make that same mistake. Don't, you know, walk backwards. Don't do things in reverse. Just learn from your mistakes and just keep going on. Number 3. People change, and there's nothing wrong with that. So this one really hits close to home, because as someone who stayed in my town, like where I grew up, I didn't like venture out after high school or anything like that. A lot of people stayed, but a lot of people went as well, which makes complete sense. Way to go, Felicia. Anyways, basically what I'm trying to get at is that there are plenty of people who stayed in my hometown, but a lot of my friends chose to leave. And these were people that I thought, man, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life being their friends. Nothing's gonna change. But people change, and it doesn't mean that they're a bad person or anything like that. I'm not gonna obviously give names because that's really shady. But yeah, there are some people that I was super close with in high school, and I was like, these are the kind of people that I'm gonna have in my life until I get married. They're gonna meet the future husband. They're gonna meet my kids, you know? And that's not true. I mean, I wish everyone that I went to high school with the best. I doubt most people from high school watch my videos, but yeah, it's a thing. So if there's someone in your life that's changing and you're like, we don't match anymore, we're not, you know, the same people we used to be, that's perfectly fine, because that means that the two of you are growing. You may grow in different directions, but it doesn't mean that someday you guys can't meet up again and still have that friendship that's super close. So I hope that makes sense. Number 4, having faith in something that's greater than you is a beautiful thing. Now, I don't like to talk about religion on my channel, just like I don't like to talk about politics, and I don't like to talk about a few other things. But I'm not going to go into that because obviously I don't want them on my channel. So very briefly, I'm just going to say, so the best way that I can word this is, for me personally, having faith in something so great and so much greater than all of us is a beautiful thing, because it gives me the positivity and the drive that I need to do things and to push myself into other limits that without faith I know I wouldn't be able to do. You can't save everyone. Now, I don't necessarily know where I was going with this when I wrote it. I want to say it was like 3 in the morning when I was jotting all these down, but when I reread it, the only thing that comes to mind is the people in your life that you see are going astray, or the people in your life that you love and you care for so much, but you see them making mistakes, and there isn't anything you can do about it because that's their path and they have to go through whatever they're going through. Especially if they're hard-headed, which are most of the people that I know and love. They're gonna have to go through things in life, and nothing's gonna stop them from making the choices that they make, and you can only hope that it doesn't change them too much. Don't take life too seriously. And by this, I just mean, I feel like there's so many people around me, and even not around me, like people that I see online and stuff, and they're so hard-headed and they're like, no, I can't have time for fun, I have to do this, I can't have time to live my life, I have to, you know, there's an agenda I have to go through. And I mean, everyone's different, but I can't live like that. I can't live so seriously. I mean, I'm not like, by any means, like a crazy, like, adventurous, let's go do this kind of person. But, I don't know, I feel like if you don't take life... I'm trying not to, like, say these things so explained and long, because then editing me is going to be so pissed because the video will be like 17 minutes long. But basically, I don't like to take life too seriously. I like to just go with the flow, have fun with it, and because of it I feel less stressed, and that's just what works for me. This one is so important to me, and it's do what makes you happy, even if others think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And yes, I'm talking about YouTube, partially. So I started doing YouTube, I want to say like 2 years ago. I remember when I was telling people, yeah, I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel, people that I thought would be helpful and really encouraging ended up just laughing at me and being like, oh, why? Like, why are you going to waste your time? And that was not the reaction I was hoping for, nor needed. And it happens a lot with my family as well. They're just kind of like, you know, stop wasting your time, just do something else. And I'm like, hell no. Hell to the no. I love doing YouTube, and even if it's not going to go anywhere, I don't care, because this is fun and this is what I love to do. And another part of that for me is just recently I made a portfolio and I'm starting to take up clients as a photographer. I've done photography ever since I was in the 7th grade, and I've loved it. So I decided, why not just take up clients and make it my job for now. And a lot of people have not been supportive of that, which is very eye-opening to me. But it's still not something that I'm gonna let bug me or anything like that. I love to do photography. I just love it all. So I'm gonna go for it because it's what I want to do and it's what makes me happy. So if there's something out there that makes you happy and the people around you don't support it and they just make you feel dumb about it, don't listen to them. Just block out all the hate and just do what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, your happiness is what matters, not their opinion. But I love my family and friends, just to make that clear. Try new things that you never thought you'd be into. What I mean by that is, like, some people are like, oh no, I'm not an arts and craft kind of person. And then you try it and you could like it. Maybe you're like, no, photography, that's not a thing I'd be into. You can try it, maybe you'll be into it. Maybe you won't, maybe you'll hate it. But there's only one way to know, and it's if you try. I have a friend named Joanne. What's up, girl? And she came over once and she's like, hey, we should paint. She's like, I have canvases, we can go to Walmart, pick up some paint. I really want to do this. And I was like, paint? Why? And she's like, I really like it, it's fun, it's just something I do in my free time. And I was like, okay, sure. To make her happy, I was like, okay, let's paint. I ended up having an amazing time. Now, on my free time, I just grab canvases and paint, and I just paint on my own. And I would have never thought painting would be something I'd be into, but because Joanne asked me to, I did it, and now I like to paint. I'm not a Picasso by any means. I'm more of a kindergarten finger painting kind of person, you know? That's what they end up looking like. But nonetheless, it is an amazing thing, and I love to do it. It's very fun. You should try it. Okay, next up is be aware of your emotions and just how easily they can affect other people. So one thing I always remembered is, like, when I was a kid, I would be home and stuff, and if my dad came home and he was really stressed from work, he wouldn't, like, yell at us or, like, anything like that. He's an amazing man. But knowing from his body language that he was stressed, it would make all of us stressed. Or, like, if my mom was real sad one day, even if she didn't say anything, we all felt sad. So emotions can definitely rub off on other people, and it'll affect their whole day. So be aware of that. Also, I'm going to try and go by these a little faster because I really don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be, so I'm sorry. This one I learned this year more than anything. Home is not a place, it's a feeling of comfort and happiness. So I don't want to go into too much detail about this, but I went from having a really beautiful house it was a beautiful home. No, that's not it. It was a beautiful house, but it wasn't a home, if that makes sense. And then we moved to a much smaller place, and even though it's not this beautiful house that everyone's in awe in, it's a home. And I think that's what matters. It's not about the amount of space you have. It's not about how many stories it is or how many square feet it is. But as long as you feel happy and you feel the comfort and the warmth, that's a home. And I think that's really important. I learned that a lot this year, but I won't go too into detail with that. When you have the chance to give, you should give. But when you are giving, don't have it in your mind that you're waiting to be a receiver next. So I see a lot of people out here, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm giving, I'm a very giving person, but then they get upset when they don't receive from that person they just gave to. And it makes me really sad. I am a giver, by all means. And I don't look to receive. And that doesn't mean I'm better than anyone or anything like that. I hope it doesn't come out that way. But I've just learned that if you're giving, do it for the right reasons. If you want to give, do it from your heart, not from your brain. And I think that's really important. And yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to extend and make everything too long because this video is already at like 20 minutes, but of course I have to edit. So bear with me. One door opening in your life will lead to a whole lot of other doors. And I think this is a common saying. I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly, but I know it's a common thing. Basically, when one door closes, another one opens. And because you go through this path, there's so many other leading doors for you. And it's this pathway that you're just, it's endless opportunities, basically, is what I'm saying. I think you get me. Negativity will get you nowhere. If you live your life thinking the worst about everyone or the worst about yourself or anything surrounding you, you're just going to attract the negative. I feel that if you live your life positively and you're just open to positive, energies, they will find their way to you. If you live your life as a negative Nancy, you are just going to attract all the negative, and then it's just going to make you feel even more negative about life. So I know it's hard, but positive thinking will get you a lot of ways. A lot of ways. I feel like I'm not making any sense. I'm sorry. This one I actually heard from another YouTuber, I'm a big fan of. Her name is Jess Conti, and the quote is, "Future you will wish you started today." And that can go for anything. I've always told myself, yeah, someday I'll do photography again, as a job. And when I heard her say that, I was like, she's so right. In a year from now, I'll wish I had started today. So I started. I haven't got any clients yet. Well, I've got one client. But, it's a slow start. So if anyone here locally in the RGV area needs a photographer, I am your girl. Start saving money for a rainy day. Now, I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing just to prove that this one is something I'm taking super seriously. One second. Okay, so to prove to you guys that this is one I am actually a practicer in, this is a cookie tin, right? I had my dad's little hole in the top, and all I'm putting in here is dimes, right? Because I heard that by the time it gets full, that's next year's Christmas gift money, which is great. And then I bought this at the store, and just to prove to you guys that I am not very smart, I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was a nice container. It's for wine. I am not a wine drinker. I don't drink in general, but I thought it was cute and I bought it, and I bought a few of them actually. So since I figured, they're very hollow inside and it goes all the way up to the top, I made a slit, and I'm only putting $5 bills in here. So every single time I get a $5 bill, I'm going to put it in here, not think about it, and I taped them both very securely so that I would really have to go in and cut it if I needed the money. So hopefully that'll stop me from actually getting it. Be like, you can wait till it gets full. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, that's just something I'm really looking forward to in a year's time, maybe. Maybe I can get myself a new camera with that money. That'd be really nice. At some point, everyone shows their true colors. And I think this is an obvious one, but there are some people in life that you befriend and you bring into your life, and then they start showing who they really are, and you're just like, this isn't the person I thought they were, and I don't like this person. That's not always the case, but it happens. Lord knows it's happened to me a few times. But it's just something to watch out for. Another one is, you are a reflection of the people that you surround yourself with. Now, this is something that I heard growing up all the time. My parents used to tell me, your friends are an example of who you are. The people you choose to have in your life say something about you personally. I would like to think that the people I have in my life are very loving and very kind people. Usually I don't keep negative people in my life because there's no reason to. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't cause yourself pain by making someone else happy. This is a big one. I'm going to get a little personal here. I've learned that in relationships, I usually tend to keep my mouth shut, and if something bothers me, I never used to say anything. I used to just be like, no, it's going to hurt their feelings if I mention something that's bothering me, And that was not the right way to go about things, because then it made the relationship weird, because then a month can pass and then all of a sudden I would just be like, no, you know what, this really bugged me, and then they'll be like, what? That was like weeks ago, a month ago. And I'd be like, yeah, I know I never said anything, but it really bugged me and now I'm getting it off my chest. And then it just makes things so weird. So don't bite your tongue in order to not cause an inconvenience for somebody else. I'm learning. You can surprise yourself by what you're capable of. There are things in life that I would have never thought possible for me. And I think that's the case with a lot of people. You know, a lot of us we have this bubble of like comfort, and we don't want to step out of it because we don't know what's out there. But we should, because the possibilities are endless and we can really surprise ourselves with what we can do. And last but not least, by this time next year, so much will have changed. If you look back at last year's video, I was very emotional. I mean, I'm still an emotional wreck. But in the video, I was so soft-spoken and I was like trying to keep, nice and stuff. And now I'm really opening up with this YouTube channel, just showing the real me. Not that that wasn't me, of course, but you know what I mean. And I'm gonna be completely honest. A year ago, I didn't know how to cook anything. I made a mean not even a grilled cheese. I made a mean sandwich, but I never grilled it, even though that's how I prefer my sandwiches. But because I was like, no, I don't go to the stove. I don't do any of that. Now, as a 21-year-old, a year later, I'm mostly making dinners for my family. My specialty is pasta. I love to make pasta for my family. I make casseroles, I make soups. Like, I love to cook now. If past me would hear me saying this, no, that's a lie. That's not true. She must be really bad at cooking. But honestly, guys, I mean, I'm no Gordon Ramsay, but I love to cook now. And yeah, there's so many other things that have changed, but that's the big one for me, and it's the one I'm most proud of. So I can't wait to look back at this video in a year and be like, oh my god, you didn't know this, but now you're capable of doing something even greater. So I'm really excited for that. And I just wanted to end this on a high note, and I feel like I did. So that's great. But with that said, I would like for you all to comment down below some things that you've learned this year, whatever age you've turned, or it doesn't even have to be an age thing. It can just be something that you learned in the past month, and you're like, last month this happened, but because of it, I learned this. I'd really love to read those. And if there's anything else that you guys want to see me do on my channel, please let me know. I do want to mention though, I was planning on posting a Christmas vlog and it didn't go the way I wanted it to, so I can't post it, but I will try to make a video about all the things that we got, maybe like a little haul, but that's what I will do because the vlog can't be posted. But with that said, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Make sure to add me on Snapchat, follow me on Instagram. I even have a Facebook page. I have a Twitter, of course. And yeah, make sure to, get at me with all the stuff that you possibly learned this year. I'd love to hear about them. And with that said, I will see you when I see you. Bye. Fuck yes, man.